Roll Nation. Hey, man, y'all fasten y'all seatbelts. We got that fire today. Another special guest joining us today. First question is, what do y'all know about attraction? I know y'all done heard that word being used countless times, but why does it concern us today? Well, as an individual, you want to be attractive enough to appeal to the right partner, whether it be personal, whether it be business. And as an entrepreneur, you most definitely want to have your business compelling enough, attractive enough to keep the clientele just rolling in.
Right.
Now, today's guest has made his name for himself for sure, teaching client attraction secrets that have ensured thousands of businesses to stay profitable and solvent. His methods have generated over like 250 billion, if I'm not mistaken.
1 billion.
1 billion. Okay.
Right.
Okay. I'm already speaking things into existence for sure.
250.
You know, for his clients. I mean, y'all get ready for the Client Attraction University CEO himself, Marquel Russell.
Hey, man.
Man, welcome to the road.
Thank you for having me, bro. I'm so excited to be here.
Hey, man, I done drove 4.5 hours to sit down with you, man, just to be in the mix. I got to following you on social media quite some time. You're making some noise. You're doing some good things. Your energy. I'm going to go ahead and start here, man. You're not your typical structured entrepreneur, CEO, from profile, from the way you talk. But I'm going to tell you one thing. You're authentic, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
You know who you are.
Appreciate it.
And that's what draws me to you, man. I mean, Marquel, laid back, hip-hop flavor, gold in his mouth. I'm telling you, it's something that draws me to you, and I couldn't wait to drive the 4.5 hours, sit down with you, brother.
I'm honored, bro. I'm honored.
Respect in that particular matter, man. What's been going on, man, other than just staying busy? I know.
Enjoying life. Being busy, you got to be busy and enjoy life. And I don't really even like to call it. Busy, I think, can have a negative connotation too, right? So it's like busy, but enjoying life at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Having a lot happening, being productive.
Yeah.
And then enjoying life at the same time. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we'll get so caught up in the grind and reaching our goals that we don't actually enjoy the process at the same. First of all, we got to make sure we're doing something that we actually enjoy.
That's it.
Right? And then while you're doing something you actually enjoy, make sure you're enjoying the process as well, like experiencing some of the fruits.
You got to reflect.
100%.
And so forth. Man, I was catching up with some of the things on social media, and I seen one of your lives where you were talking about, man, health, and you were starting this meal plan, I think, for the next 90 days. Man, how that's going, first of all?
So far, so good. I'm doing this detox. My guy, Dr. Bobby. Shout out to Dr. Bobby. Dr. Holistic.
There you go.
So he got this 28-day detox. It's like an herbal detox.
Yeah.
So I'm on what's the day? So it's like day 10, I think. Something like that. So far, so good. So I'm doing that. I got a trainer I'm working with. We've been hitting the gym like crazy.
Oh, snap.
It's torture. But, yeah, man. So it's good. It's just tapping into another level. It's always like another level, right? And every time. So I was telling one of my OGs today when we was in the gym, and he was like, man, you're going to master this too. And I'm like, dude, every time I feel like I'm getting it, he moves the bar. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So you got to have that.
I can imagine you do the same things for us with your clients.
You got to.
Take it to the next level. So
you
deserve to get that for sure, man. Good, man. You know, the field that I'm in and the field that I do enjoy when you talk about passion and so forth is a lot of self-development. And I know you got to be big on that. And I done seen your book library as far as online. So I know you nurturing the mind. But I first want to talk about, you know, limiting beliefs and how important it is to know that you can get beyond your potential. I mean, what do you do when you either having a strategy call or got somebody in front of you to where you see that person has these blocks or these limited beliefs? I mean, do you not take them as a client then, or do you take the time and kind of try to help them or get them to the next level as far as mentally wise?
Right. Great question. So I think it's always limiting beliefs at every level, right? So you never break free of limiting beliefs at any level. So it's like a lot of times if you haven't got the 6 figures yet, it's typically a limiting belief that's holding you back. If you haven't got the 7 figures from 6 figures, it's typically a limiting belief. If you're at 7 looking to get to 8, you're at 9 looking to get to a bit, you know what I'm saying? It's always a limiting belief. So a lot of times, yes. Because a lot of times it's just a limiting belief that's stopping you from taking action. Whether that's to buy or to even not to buy. And then, but still do something. You know what I'm saying? Because like indecision is the worst thing. Indecision is like the worst thing. Like indecision is worse than making a bad decision. Because if you make a bad decision, you can learn. But if you don't make no decision, you just stuck. You're trapped. You know what I'm saying? So yes, we dig into that. Yeah. And then the way we do it is like not like forcibly trying to make somebody believe a certain thing, but like asking questions to figure out what they believe and why they believe that. Because a lot of times we, as adults, we still are stuck because we believe stuff that our parents told us when we was like 3 years old. You know
it's all psychology, man.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely, like you say, just trained up that particular way, and we can believe as much as we've learned.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard to see yourself in that particular space. Confidence overall, man. You ain't always been this confident, man. Tell me about the Marquel before you even started Client Attraction. How did it come about for you to even get to the particular point that we say, hey, I got something here. I'm gaining the momentum.
Right. So I think, for me, man, so I dropped out. So early in my life, so I dealt with trauma like anybody else. And a lot of times we just playing out our trauma, right? Yeah. So a lot of that affects our confidence. So I grew up in a drug-infested environment. My aunt raised me up to 3rd grade. I thought it was my mom up to 3rd grade. She did smoke crack, right? So that was the initial environment that I was in. And then I started living with my mom when I was in 3rd grade. But I was always like entrepreneurial. So I used to cut people grass, take out the trash, all the different types of stuff, right? But you're always dealing with insecurities and confidence like at every level, right? Because what you're hearing and then comparing yourself, you're seeing what other people got, and then you don't have that, so that affects you as well. So you're dealing with all that. And one of my biggest fears early on was a fear of public speaking. I used to be terrified, right? And a lot of people laugh when I tell them that. They're like, ain't no way. Yeah. And they see me speaking on stages all across the globe, and it's like, I used to be terrified to speak on stages because of that confidence, because of the insecurities, all of it. Because you're on stage and you're thinking like, well, what are they going to say? What if they, especially when you're in class, right? Kids are cruel. It's like, if you get laughed at in class, it's like grown folks still impacted by being laughed at in
just trying not to stutter, trying to remember.
You know what I'm saying? So I dealt with all that just like anybody else. And then when I came into this marketing world, online, teaching people, I was like, everybody who teaches marketing, everybody who I've studied, 99.9% of them are like older white guys, right?
Right.
So I was like, dang, how am I going to do this? I dropped out of high school in 10th grade, got an African education.
That's it.
Drugs, drug-infested environment, sold drugs, all this different type of stuff. Tattoos, goals. Like I came in it with tats and gold. I didn't like come in this and start making some money and went and got tats and gold. Like this how I came in it, right?
Right.
So it was like, I was like, who's going to listen to me when everybody else looks this particular way? And then when I came in through network marketing. So in network marketing, you got to like wear suits and dress shoes, all this different type of stuff. And I bought into it because that's what I had to do based on what they taught me.
And I seen that old picture too, man.
Yeah, exactly. So you already know.
Yeah, I laughed a little bit. I ain't even lie.
But sure, that's what that's what the purpose was, right? So, and I like to show people the process. Yeah. So it's like when I went through that, I came into this world teaching from stages. As early on, I had like a suit on and all this, but then I realized that I actually didn't have to do all that. I can show up like this, or I can show up in a hoodie or some ripped jeans, a polo shirt, and white Air Force Ones. And then because people want the authenticity more than anything.
That's it. And that's why you ET Connect. Eric Thomas is another one. Mm-hmm. He ain't dressed, he ain't suited up. He ain't trying to change for nobody. Yep. Baseball cap, shirt, jeans, or whatever it may be, Jordans. And he connect. And what I've learned is too, man, everybody ain't your person.
100%.
And you try to speak to everybody, you speak to nobody, for sure. So, even with the podcast, man, that's something that I've learned too, that I got to stick to my niche. Because I came into the podcast, obviously, just trying to appeal to everybody. And so I learned the hard way because you're like, man, I don't want to miss out on nobody, man. Yep. I want everybody to listen to it. But for sure, man. Timing and knowing when to take action, though, it's certain times that we do jump into things, man. I mean, is it a particular time to where, people want to come into your university that you might have to honestly say, hey, it might not be the right timing, or you need to do some homework, or, at this particular stage, because it's easy to take that check.
Yeah, so typically we like to work with people who got expertise. So we mainly work with expertise. So they're either a coach, they're either a consultant, they're a course creator, they're a podcaster, they're maybe a real estate investor, speaker, service provider. They got something. They know they have expertise. They just want to get in front of more people and attract more clients into what they do. If somebody comes to us and they're like, well, I just want to start a business and make some money, and they don't know what their expertise is, then it's like, it's a hard no for us because we can't really help you. Right. You got to know what your expertise is. We can help you package it. We can help you with the messaging. We can help you with the positioning. We can help you with the marketing. We can help you with all that. But it's like, you got to know what you're looking to do, and then we can help you grow up from there. Does that make sense? Now, sometimes people, now, you mentioned timing. A lot of people are like, well, it just ain't the right timing. But they'll have some of that stuff, but they still feel like it's not timing because they think that things got to be a certain type of way before they're actually ready to jump. And now that perfect timing doesn't exist.
Right. And that's what hinders us from getting started sometimes because everybody want it kind of planned out a little further.
Because you want certainty. Like, and you can't.
Everybody want them guarantees. Most people do.
That ain't entrepreneurship.
It ain't.
Like, entrepreneurship is about uncertainty. Like, the definition of being an entrepreneur is operating with risk. A lot of people want to be entrepreneurs. We call them wantrepreneurs. They want to be entrepreneurs without the risk. And it's like, you should just get a job.
That's it. You got to normalize discomfort, man. Yeah. And for sure. You know, with and I was speaking to one of my team members on the way up, and they would tell them as far as, you know, how they were trying to deal with imposter syndrome. And that's real, you know, because when you get in a room with the Marquel Russell and trying to, you know, talk on his level or be on his level as far as expertise, I mean, you feel some kind of way, you know? And I was just sharing with them that you just really got to be comfortable in your own skin and building up the confidence because a lot of times people know a lot of information that they already an expert in that particular field. But what I learned is, and you can kind of confirm is, everybody want to take them from A to Z, but just take it from A to G a lot of times and perfect that. You know, that's your segment right now in life until you learn, you know, to take them to the Z part. And that's something that I had to learn as well. But just kind of sharing my thoughts too, man. You afraid to fail?
Am I afraid to fail? I'm afraid of having a fear and then not doing it and letting that fear stop me.
Client Attraction University, man. I mean, real talk, is there some moments to where you feel like, hey, you know, I can't let my clients down. I mean, I got to keep this thing going. I got to keep this thing healthy and so forth. I don't know if there's a particular moment within the time frame of the university to where you, Wes, whoever else on the team just had to kind of get together and just say, hey, you know, we got to make some changes. You know, tell me about the behind the scenes tough times, man. I mean,
so it's always adjustments, right? So, I mean, we've had those times where it was like, hey, all right, after this payroll, we land some people off. And then we ain't going to be able to pay. So even my business partner, Dre, you probably see Dre in a lot of videos as well. We had to have a conversation a few years ago and was like, hey, bro, after this month, we're going to pay these individuals. But going forward, I don't know, the money ain't there to pay you for what you do. And then bro was just like, I ain't tripping on that. I'll make money. I'll figure out how to make money. Let's build this thing. This was several years ago, but we built through that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, it's always challenges. It's always like you will grow. Like people think that entrepreneurship is like this, right? Entrepreneurship ain't like that. It's like it's typically like,
sure.
But if you look at the medium, it's called regressing to the mean. If you look at the bottom line, you've always grown even when you hit one of those things. But a lot of times people, when they hit that dip, they stop in that dip. Or they start changing stuff in that dip versus keep going because you're going to always end up there. And like, it's law of averages. It's always going to self-correct. But kind of like the stock market, right? Stock market, like it's going to self-correct eventually, but you got to make sure you're still being consistent in it and like doing your necessary work and like going through the process. But it's like you grow and then you kind of plateau a little bit, right? You hit a plateau and it's like, okay, how do we get to this next level? And then you figure that out and then you hit that and now it kind of plateaus out again. And then, but you got to be willing to go through that process and most people ain't.
You got to be willing. I mean, Road Nation, you hear them, you know, stick to the course. Stick to the course. It's going to change numerous amount of times. You know, anybody that's pursuing something great gonna hit the downfalls. Some more than other, but stick to the course, especially if it's something you're passionate about. For sure.
It don't even got to be a downfall. It's just part of the process.
It's part of the process.
Yeah. It ain't necessarily a downfall. It's just like, because you're still better than when you started. It's just like you plateaued out a little bit. Now you need to.
You're right. And sometimes you gotta.
You only succeed. You successful at your highest level of thinking. So no matter how successful you are right now, or unsuccessful, wherever you are right now, is a result of your highest level of thinking. So how do you tap into another level of thinking? Oftentimes you got to go make an investment to tap into some other level of thinking, right? And then that's going to help you level up, right? But it's like, all right, cool. I hit this point. Now I'm ready to level up. How do I level up? Well, oftentimes it's making an investment to level up. But it's like, you ain't necessarily hit a downfall because you stagnated. Because you're oftentimes further along than you were from the gate.
That's it.
So it just depends on like perspective and how you view it.
For sure. You know, perspective is important, and reflection is important as well. Just sometimes we just sit back and just like look how far we came. For sure. Man, who you looking for as a mentor, as a coach, man? I mean, I know you read books, I know podcasts and everything, but give me your top 2 guys, man, that you just say, hey, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of lean towards these couple people probably a little bit more than anybody. I don't know if it may be spread out for you.
So it just depends, man. So it depends on the season, right? So my business partner, Dre, who I was telling you about, our co-founder, that's somebody who I lean on a lot because he always gonna give me a raw, authentic perspective. Yeah. And not just kind of, here's what bro want to hear type of thing. Outside of that, it really honestly just depends, man. So it depends on like kind of what phase I'm in. And I'm a reader. So it's like, it's not like one particular book I'm always in or one specific author. So I was listening to a book on the way here. So it's like, it just depends on like what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? So like now, so sometimes I'm on Black history heavy. So, you know what I'm saying? Or I might be on a mode where I'm on CEO management type of stuff. Or I might be on some marketing type stuff. So it just depends. And I'm always leaning towards people who don't agree with what I agree with or don't think like I think. Because I don't want to be around people who just think like how I think. I want people who like may not think how I think.
Which that's some of the things that I wrote as far as on notes wise, man. I mean, you know, from a mentorship standpoint, I'm sure you're awesome. From an education standpoint, you're awesome. But what I get overall is that you challenge people.
For sure.
You know, I mean, even with yourself.
And what's life without a challenge, man? Like, it's boring. What's life without a challenge? Like, on the way here, like, the GPS took me to a different address.
Yeah.
Right. However, where it took me through, I was on Boulevard. But like, if you ain't from here, Boulevard used to be the hood. So like what you see over here now, it's like, it's crazy just riding through here.
Oh, really?
So I'm riding through this back road. It took me to Boulevard to this house. And I pull up to a house and I'm like, this can't be it. It said, it's the studio. And I'm like, this ain't right. So I hit B up and I'm like, something ain't right. So I was like, okay, cool. So, you know, these GPSs be crazy. Yeah. But even though I went through that, I was still able to see all the gentrification happening. Yeah. And people who live over there now who wouldn't even roll down Boulevard a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I could look at that as a challenge and be like, all right, I'm just going to go home. Or I can look at, okay, this is a challenge. I got to see this. And now I get to, you know, continue. So it's like, what's life without a challenge? I got to hire a trainer. I used to work out at home. I used to do this challenge at home, 30-minute workout, hit workout, boom. Yeah. And it was cool. But it was like, it's another level of it. So I hired a trainer, and it's like, it's torture every day for 30 minutes. It's straight torture. On the treadmill, it's straight torture. However, what I realized is my highest mile time on the treadmill has been a little less than 7 minutes. And a week ago, you could have never told me I could run a mile in less than 7 minutes. But he challenged me to do it.
He pushed you, man.
Yeah, for sure. He was like, he just sped it up to like 9. And I'm like, what? He goes, we're going to run a mile. I'm like, ain't no way.
Overcoming the challenges. Yeah.
What's life without it, man? It's boring.
And I had that challenge too because Marquel was late. But, you know, we excuse him here because now, you know, I'm getting 50% off the coaching program, but we're going to talk about it after the fact at some point.
For sure.
Good deal, man. So what's the motto for the Client Attraction University? Attracting clients while working 50%.
While working 50% less.
Man, tell me about that 50% less, man.
Because most people, because like, here's the thing.
You got to grind now, Marquel.
You don't actually got to grind. Grind, think about it. Anything you grind on, what? Wears out. So some people sleep at night and they grind their teeth. And it mess their teeth up. Mm-hmm. If you was driving down here from Charleston and your brakes start grinding, is that a good thing?
Man, that ain't a good thing.
Where is grind a good thing?
Man, I don't know, man. It's what I've been taught.
Exactly. So it's like only in the entrepreneurial world, some circles, grinding is a good thing. That's like the same thing as like hustle 24/7. That's the same thing as, hey man, you gotta eat, sleep when you're dead. It's like all that, all this different type of stuff, right? Even my guy David, you mentioned David earlier, David Shands, and like he has this thing, sleep is for suckers, right?
Yeah.
But most people don't even know what that means. He explained it to me what it means, but most people think it automatically means if you sleep, that is for suckers. But it's like, no, it actually means you can sleep in life, right? Mm-hmm. In a career, in a job, in a business, you can sleep on your health, you can sleep in your relationships. That's for suckers. But most people think like grind, man, you got to grind. No. Because think about it. If you put more time in to make $1, to make money, time is more valuable than money.
For sure, especially the older I get.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, if you put more time in to make money, money is less valuable than time. So if you invest a whole lot of the thing that you can't get back to get the thing that's less valuable, you actually lose. So you got to figure out how do I get leverage so I can actually get more output from less input. So it ain't about putting in more input because that doesn't scale, right? Not your personal input. You got to figure out how do I put in systems. So for example, most people struggle to get clients. So they spend the majority of the time, smart business owners, they invest the majority of the time getting clients, trying to figure out, going out, passing out flyers, spamming people on social media, sending out DMs, cold calling, all this different type of stuff, trying to figure out how to get clients. Yeah. What if you didn't have to do that? So let's say, for example, you work 40 hours a week, and 25 of those hours was trying to figure out how to get business. What if you no longer had to figure out how to go out and get business, but you had a system in place where when you woke up every day, you had people who applied to work with you already. You had 50 to 100 leads already. When you came in from vacation, your calendar was filled with people who applied to work with you. Now you don't got to worry about going out and find clients. Now you becoming you're the hunted. You actually become the hunter. Now people reaching out to you actually want to work with you.
I get that.
That's how you cut the work time in half.
I get that. But doesn't that take time? Don't you have to do the grind before you get to that particular point?
Well, you put the systems in place, right? So it's kind of like it's like farming. It's like it initially takes time planting the seeds, nurturing the seeds, all that good stuff. But then when the harvest comes exponential. Right. But you got to plant those seeds. You got to, let's say for example, you're doing ads. When you can launch an ad, now this ad goes out and work for you when you're not asleep. If your only marketing mechanism is creating video content, you can't really scale that unless you create more videos. And it's not a bad thing. However, when you got ads on, they running 24/7, 365. So now you mix that with your content and you tie those two together. Now you got people binge watching your stuff, going through your systems, while you sleep. And that's really where you want to be at. If you don't got clients and leads coming in while you sleep, you really don't have a business.
That's it, man, right there. Ultimately, that's where you want to get, and you for sure. That's why it's attractive enough. That's probably why you're on my podcast right now, is because, I want the clients. Yep. I want the guests. I want the, the coaching program that I'm developing right now. I don't want to have to seek out every client. I want systems in place.
There you go. People ask me all the time, like, how do you get on more podcasts? How do you get on more stages where you become attractive? Nobody don't know about you. It don't matter how great you are if don't nobody know who you are.
That's it. The marketing. you got to look better. Plain and simple. You got to look better.
Nobody knows who you are. It's like they say, if a tree fell in the woods, who would hear it? Nobody. Like if you scream from the top of the roof how amazing you are, nobody will hear you. No matter how great you are. Think about it. Do you know somebody who can make a great burger?
Do I know somebody who make a great burger? Yeah.
Probably amazing. Amazing burger.
Yeah.
But have they sold billions of them though?
No.
Who sold billions of them? McDonald's. Because they figured out the systems and they figured out the marketing. They don't got the best burger.
Right.
But everybody knows. It's arguable. Is that even a burger? Like, what is it?
True.
What's in that?
True.
Right? It's arguable. Like, it's like this ain't even food.
I prefer cookout.
Yeah, it ain't even food.
Yeah.
But it's like they sell more of it in the form of a burger than the people who can make the best burgers ever, because they got the systems and they got the marketing.
Man, we got some work to do, man. We got some work to do for sure, man. Don't let them get out of here after this podcast. So, scheduling, the balance, the work life, everybody kind of talk about it here and there. It seems that you kind of got that figured out. I would imagine you have some kind of system, obviously.
For sure, 100%.
To keeping the family intact and, you work. Tell me about that a little bit, man. Some of the things that you focus on and kind of shutting the phone off and, to have a particular time.
For sure. So I'm not perfect at it, right? I'm still a work in progress because I love what I do. So it ain't like what I do ain't really work, right? Mm-hmm. To me, because I love it. However, like you said, you got to be intentional. I got kids, I got a wife, I got other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like one thing, I schedule everything. Mm. So if it ain't on the calendar, it ain't real. Mm. Right? So it's it's like when I'm out, when you're out in events and stuff like that, people be like, hey man, let's have a call this week, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I don't be trying to be funny, but I'll be like, hey, send an email to here. My team will get you on the calendar because I'll double book, right?
That's it.
But it's like I schedule everything. So like my son's birthday was this past weekend. He turned 9. Okay. We was planning to go out of town. That's on the calendar. This on the calendar. This interview today is on the calendar. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So everything is scheduled. Like if it's not, I have thinking time on my calendar every week. So it's like everything is on the calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it's not real. And the Google Calendar is probably the most valuable tool that I use.
Man,
and it's a free tool.
And it's a free tool.
You know what I'm saying?
It's easy to connect.
Yeah, I schedule everything. And if I schedule everything. So that's my hack. Scheduling and just being, intentional about it. And also what I do every quarter, I do some kind of getaway with the family. We do something. I don't know what it's going to be. And also, our clients in our 7-Figure Society Mastermind, I also have them do the same thing every quarter. They do some kind of getaway to do something to, again, enjoy the process. It don't got to be nothing exotic. You can just go get a room downtown,
just the togetherness,
and not do anything, just unplug. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing.
That's what's up, man. So you talked about the 7-figure mindset. So what are the stages? Like, for the new person that's kind of coming in, obviously, that's a particular stage. And I guess, the higher people, production people, 7-figure.
Yeah. So you got when you're newer, you mean in terms of what you should focus on, or like what?
Just newer people altogether. So the 7-figure people, I would imagine, been through the program, or already maybe there needs some enhancement.
It's more about systems and scale and operations and team and that type of stuff. We even talk about like acquiring other companies and the wealth building. So now, how do you turn this business into a sellable asset, right? If you decide to sell it. Or how do you go acquire other companies if you want to acquire other companies? Mm-hmm. Or how do you just take this and start growing, other forms of wealth?
What do you do, man, when people want to work with you particularly? But, I mean, obviously, you can't work with everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's got to be your team. That's why you got systems in place and so forth, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if I come on Client Attraction University, man, I need Marquel right there. 1-on-1. Nah, I know that's unrealistic a lot of times, but, I would imagine some clients, want to work with a person that's been attracted to them as far as on social media, right? And like they looking at you.
Yeah, and then great question. So all of our clients get some form of me in some shape, form, or fashion, right? Yeah. So it just depends. And like most people think they know what they need. You actually really don't. So some people say, I need 1-on-1 coaching. Like, well, what do you want? And they're like, well, I want to get more clients and I want to hit 7 figures. Where that doesn't require 1-on-1 coaching. You're lacking a system, right? The system is what you want, not 1-on-1. Because the cool thing is like, when you work with somebody 1-on-1, you're actually limited. So if I'm working with you 1-on-1, right, and you teaching me how to do a podcast, for example, I'm limited to just your perspective. But if it's me and it's 4 or 5 other of us and you're teaching all of us and we're all asking questions, they're going to ask you questions that I ain't think about asking.
That's true.
Right? And you're going to help them overcome stuff that I ain't even think about or didn't even see coming. That's where the value in the mastermind comes. That's why typically masterminds cost way more, because it's the exponential effect. So a lot of people think if you knew what you needed, you actually wouldn't even have a problem.
That's it.
Right? You don't know what you need. You know what you want, but you don't really know what gets you there. Because otherwise, you'd already have
it. Which one do people to know about you, man? Which one do people to know about you? What I ain't asked you as far as that goes, man. I mean, we talked about the Client Attraction University and what it brings to the table and how valuable that is. The authenticity of you, just being an original person altogether, family man and work-life balance and so forth. You talked about some of the struggles of where you come from, which was important, man. I thought I knew a little bit about it, but you kind of informed me. Just where you are, man. I'm impressed. What I don't know about you, man.
I think one question people don't ask is like, what does it really take? Like people don't really like, that's why you can't count the cost. Like I heard you mentioned E.T. earlier.
Yeah.
And he was like, don't count the cost because it costs too much. Like you can't count the cost. Like what does it really cost? Like I said, like your new life is going to cost you your old one. So what does it cost you to really build what you want to build, that big vision? It costs you everything. It costs you your old life. It costs you your old way of thinking, your old way of operating, your old habits. It costs you all that. That sleeping in, all that. It's going to cost you that for a minute.
That's it.
Some of them relationships, it's going to cost you that. A lot of them relationships going to fall off. Like how you used to move, how you used to operate. Some people say, oh, well, that ain't me. That ain't me getting on stage. Or that ain't me being on video. Well, yeah, you is what got you. So if you want to keep you, then just be okay with that. But like, this wasn't me being on camera, being on stages. That wasn't me putting myself online. Like, that wasn't me talking to people. But it's like, me is what got me. One of my mentors asked me 10 years ago when I was in network marketing. It was like, Marquel, if you could have everything you want in life, thinking the way you think when you already have it.
That's it.
It costs you everything. It costs you your own life. You know what I'm saying? Not because like a lot of my homies still in the streets. All my homies I grew up with still in the streets. My bros, and them still my guys. Like we was just together a couple of weeks ago out having dinner. Just kicking it, right? Just catching up. I've been making it more intense because we normally don't get together until somebody die.
That's it.
And then we see each other at a funeral, and then we start saying, hey, we need to be more intentional about getting together. But it takes somebody to die to do that. So when one of my bros died, my main bro died, I was like, I need to be more intentional. Yes, we all busy, and we got lives, but we got to be more intentional. We just get together and just chop it up. No one got to have no intentions. We just get together. Oh, these are still my guys, and everybody still move around how they move around. It ain't no love. I don't get around them, judge them, and tell them that they tripping about doing what they do. We still bros. Everybody just got they chosen their own path. Right. And at some point, some people gonna say, okay, I want to do something different, and I've paved the way for that. And then some people are like, hey, this is for life, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But however, I can only invest certain time in certain environments. Right. Because how I move. And then some people I just can't deal with no more at all because, I can't get caught up in certain pictures and, that type of stuff when the feds, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to move different. Yeah, I got to move different. I can't be moving like that. I can't sit in the trap and all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, let's meet at a restaurant and eat. What I'm saying? But I ain't putting up in the trap like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still me, but it's just like, what does it cost?
It costs you everything.
Yeah, and most people ain't willing to invest that. They want a guarantee with the minimum amount of investment, with the minimum amount of effort. And the only way you can potentially get that is on the job.
You got to reevaluate your perspective. You got to,
and for the record, it's nothing wrong with a job. So a lot of people are entrepreneurs. They beat up the people with jobs. It's nothing wrong with a job. Entrepreneurship ain't for everybody. The internet makes you feel like everybody should be an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship ain't for everybody. It's okay to have a job. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And then some aspiring entrepreneurs, they're like, I'm going to quit my job and go straight into the business thing. No, don't do that.
Definitely don't do that.
Use your income from your job. That's your venture capitalist. I always tell my clients who want to quit their job so fast. Go in there with a positive energy to your job. Yeah. Use it as a venture capitalist. Take that money that you got coming in and invest that into your business and keep that going until you're really ready to step out. Because it's like, once you step out, you eat what you kill.
That's it. And if you ain't ready for that type of pressure,
no, don't do that. Don't put that necessary pressure on yourself.
Don't do it for sure.
Because most people say, well, if I quit my job, I have more time. More time ain't your issue. Being efficient with your time is. So that's like more people say, when I get more money, I manage it better. It's like, no, you can't manage the money you got now. So $1 million of them dollars ain't gonna help you if you can't manage 10,000 of them, 1,000.
And that's what I talk about a lot as far as just the mental shift altogether. You know, I mean, that's so important. A lot of people want to start businesses and get into these particular systems, but they haven't really worked on what's
it's not
up there
easy.
yet.
Because they think it's easier. It's not easier. It's harder.
And everybody think they're attractive until they up on stage and people looking at them. Sure. Marquel Russell, Clown Attraction University CEO, making it happen, here with us on the road. Man, it's been real, man. I wish I could spend a little bit more time with you, man. I got you in my phone now, man. You done called me by mistake, man. I got your number, man. I definitely got to connect with you to go further as far as what I'm doing. Get some feedback from you and get on the calendar.
Let's do it.
You know, for sure. How can they reach you, man?
So I'm real easy to find online. So you can go to any platform, Marquel Russell, MarquelRussell. So that's MarquelRussell. So if you hit me on Instagram, for example, come over there, join us in the community. I don't really like to say follow me because I ain't really big on followers. So it's like, come join our community. Click the blue button. They got follow on it, but you joining the community. Yeah. Send me a direct message. Say, hey, I saw you on AG Podcast. I'm part of the Row family. And I got a bonus again for you. Connect me on Instagram. So that's number one. Number two, if you're an expert and you want to get more clients for your business, you want an extra 50 to 100 leads every single day for your business, go to paidadplaybook.com. So that's paidadplaybook.com, PAID, adplaybook.com, and you can get the Paid Ad Playbook and a bonus video, all for 100% free.
You done heard it all. Till next time, we out.